Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Ryan in Singapore. Welcome to our mindfulness practice. There he is. There's Frank in the background. Welcome, everybody. Today's topic is kind of a funny one. It's what happens after you die. It's the age-old question that humanity's been trying to solve for, I think, as long as we've been aware that we are mortal. And today, do I have the answer for you? I guess that's the question. Do I have some kind of special insider knowledge? Fortunately, I haven't yet died. And if I had, I wouldn't be able to have this conversation with you. And so I think that's one of the interesting things about this question, is that nobody can really answer it. And a lot of people have ideas as to what it is. And I think this is one of the reasons that religions exist, is that a lot of times that's who tries to give us the answer at some kind of religious reason, and or some idea that this is what happens. Here in Singapore, there's a place called Har Paw Villa. It has the Hell Museum. So really interesting. If you're ever in Singapore, you can go to Har Paw Villa and look at the Hell Museum. It's just different ideas from different religions of different time periods as to what happens after you die, and what's going on there. Do we have a terminus? Do we end up somewhere at the end, or do we end up coming back? These are two different styles, but anyway, you like it or not, this really isn't this is the background of today's topic. The real topic here is, my question to you is, why does it matter? Why does it matter what happens after you die? And I think that's the real thing. I mean, man, it would be great. It'd be great to know. It'd be great to have some confidence as to, what is it? What happens, and to be able to know exactly, would that make us feel better? I'm not entirely sure. Maybe the truth isn't a rosy one. I don't know. But the real point here is that, being human, and you can even look at, as we talk about religions, right? There's pretty common themes that go through every single religion that's out there. And even if you aren't religious, if you're atheist or agnostic, there are certain moral principles that govern being human, that we all tend to agree on some simple sets of guidelines that we should follow as human beings. So, what happens after you die isn't necessarily so important as to what you're doing today. And that's really kind of what I want to get at, is that if the main idea, if the main purpose of being human is to live a good life, and to make ourselves and those around us to be happier and to live a happier life, is that good enough? Do we really need to have more than that to think that we have, or to need to have fulfilling lives? And I think that's kind of the philosophy that I've tried to go on, is that, and this is kind of an add-on to Beginner's Mind. So we talked about the 9 attitudes of mindfulness-based stress reduction. One of them is Beginner's Mind. And I do try to apply that to a lot of different areas of my life, and this is one of them as well, is that, hey, maybe I have some idea as to what goes on, but, I don't know. I'm a, maybe there is somebody out there who has a better idea of what goes on, but that person isn't me. I've got a bunch of things that I'm working on in my life, and like discovering the mysteries of the afterlife isn't really one of them. So instead of trying to be an expert and to say here's what happens, and to, do I feel more comfortable knowing what that is, and perhaps convincing myself that I know that truth? Maybe, but is it possible to just live my life well and to trust that whatever there is out there on the other side, that that what I'm doing here and now is enough already, that I don't have to worry about what's over there to make the here and now the best that it can possibly be. So that's really the kind of the crux of this. And let's see what brought it up for me. Why is this my topic for today? Is in September, when I sat on my last meditation retreat in Thailand. That was something really interesting that came up. Just this idea about religion, and about what happens after we die. Is that a lot of times if we're so concerned about what's on the other side, it may actually cause us, and you can see it, right? It causes additional suffering, that unknown. And and this of course is a Thai forest Buddhist retreat, so of course there's a little bit of Buddhism involved here. And so one of the core Buddhist principles is, the Four Noble Truths, is that suffering is real. Human beings, we suffer. And the root cause of our suffering is known. That root cause is clinging to something. And clinging is often caused by desire for things to be a certain way. And so that is something that happens here in our daily lives, that we desire things, and our desires can cause us to feel unhappy. And so when we project that into the afterlife, that is also suffering, right? Is to say, I want things, not only do I want things to be a certain way right now in this life, but I also want things to be a certain way in the afterlife, and affecting how I'm feeling right now. And again, like, is it is asking the higher power to grant me whatever. This is one of the things as well that I have a little bit of issue. I take issue sometimes with abundance meditations, because I tend to find that these aren't meditations, that these are ways to compound suffering. That it's like, I want something so bad, and I'm just going to focus my energy and my attention, or I'm going to pray for that thing. And then a lot of times it doesn't come to pass, and then we go, well, what was that? Was that something that I did that didn't that made it not come to pass? And I think one of the lessons of, I think the most powerful lesson I learned out of my brief reading of the Bhagavad Gita is that you can control your actions. Right? You have the ability to control what it is you do. You do not have the ability to control the outcome. So, do your best, do what it is that you think is best in your life. And then whatever happens is just what happens. So don't get attached to the results as best you can. Don't worry about what happens even tomorrow. Just do your best now. Do the things you need to be doing now, and the future will unfold. It's going to unfold one way or the other. So, all right. Yeah, I'm already starting to read the comments, and I'm wanting to comment on the chat. I'm not going to do that. Instead, in the spirit of present moment and being aware of what's going on and training ourselves to let go of the future, I'm going to meditate on the present moment today. So get comfortable. So find a way to sit comfortably today. Maybe you want to stretch out a little bit before we really get into the meaty part of the meditation. So you can turn your head from side to side, roll your shoulders a few times, sit up straight and tall, connect with your intention. Why bother meditating? Why am I meditating today? So remember what it is that's brought you here. It can be something as simple as, I want to be more focused. I want to be more present. I want to help my reactivity. And then start to notice that you're breathing. So none of us are dead who are here, not yet. We're all alive. And how do we know we're alive? Well, one way we know is that we're breathing. So tune in to this action that you take, that you have in common with almost every living thing on this planet. Exchanging gases with our external environment. Oxygen nourishing our cells, nourishing the blood. And as we exhale, releasing carbon dioxide, other waste products of metabolism into our environments. And so if it's your first time meditating on the breath, see if you can notice how the body is affected by the breath. Maybe you can feel the movement of your belly up and down, expanding and contracting as you breathe in, as you breathe out. Maybe you can feel the clothing that you're wearing. I can always notice my t-shirt rubbing gently against the skin of my belly as I breathe. as best you can, keeping your mind concentrated on that feeling of breathing. And of course, all of us will have times when our minds wander away, think about other things. See if you can gently let go of those things and return your mind to fully concentrating on that physical sensation of breath. So if you have your mind fully concentrated, fully examining this feeling of breathing, you'll see that it's impossible to think about other things. And it doesn't mean that we're going to stay focused for the entire time we try to meditate. But as long as you are doing your best to stay focused, then this counts as meditation. There is no good meditation or bad meditation. Doing your best in this moment to stay focused is enough. Even if it means you get distracted 100 times, 1,000 times during our time together. Keep it up, you're doing great. As best you can, keep that attention focused on the breath. And today I'm really using that feeling on my skin of my t-shirt to hold my attention in the present. Maybe you're Noticing the position of your navel as you breathe. Maybe you're noticing your chest rising and falling. Maybe you're noticing the feeling of air moving through your nostrils, whatever it is. Just trying your best to stay concentrated on that feeling. Okay, time's about up. I'm going to ring the bell 3 times here momentarily to signal the end of our practice. All right. Thanks for practicing with me today. Thanks for being here, kind of listen to this topic. It's kind of debating. Never really talked about a topic like this before, but I just think it's a good one to help us remember to stay present. That whatever's going to happen, it's going to happen, right? I mean, no matter what anybody says, nobody knows 100% what's going on the other side, And I would say beware of someone who tells you that they do know exactly what's going on. So, thanks for meditating with me today. How'd it go? I'm gonna have a look at the chat, and kind of wrap up here today. Thanks for joining today, Rhonda. It's been a pleasure if you're still here. Hope to see you again soon. Kelly says, that's what I've been wondering. Why do I care about what happens when I die, and why do people worry or are scared? It's a philosophical question. I'll tell you why people are scared. It's because it's unknown, right? I mean, I don't care what happens in life. If there's a big unknown out there, it's scary. And, that's... I was talking to someone yesterday about... it's just about abuse, right? And being in a relationship that's abusive, that sometimes we don't want to get out of that relationship, not because we like the how difficult that relationship is, but it's just so scary as to trying to see what else is out there. And this is kind of why the generational issues around that happen, is because that's what I'm used to seeing. This is what love looks like to me, and that's and trying to get out of that, it can be hard and scary because we don't know what's on the other side. And so that's it just goes to show that it's just like everything in our meditation practice, that human beings, we all operate around very common themes. Yeah, Rhonda said, I never gave it a serious thought, but once my mother passed away, I wanted to know where she went. And yeah, that's a normal and natural kind of desire to especially about our loved ones, to know what's going on. And I'll share something. In 2022, I kind of had one of these, it wasn't just pure meditation, there was a little more to it than that. And it was about a month after Frankie's predecessor passed away. So, not that Frank was the replacement of my previous cat, but I did have another cat, and when he passed away, and I had this session, I really found that I hadn't grieved that loss completely, and that really came out. And I think one of the things that really helped was to realize that he's still alive inside of me, that he affected me, and my memories of him are still there, and they still have a positive effect on me, remembering that he was there. And then that kind of moved on to another step, which was my grandpa. My grandpa was a really important person in my life, and had a lot of positive impact on me, and we had a great relationship. And then when he passed away, that was hard for me, for sure. And I think that during that time that happened as well. So because my cat had passed away so recently, that became very present for me. And then I kind of went on towards my grandpa and went, you know what, not only is my grandpa alive inside of me based on his actions, but also, I mean, I do have some genetic similarity to him. I do have some of the same behaviors as he does, or as he did. And, in a way, there's even more of him alive inside of me than my poor Maine Coon, who isn't with me anymore physically. But as I said, there's still a part of him alive inside of me. So I think that was comforting to know. So instead of really worrying about where that individual went, is it possible to remember that that person, that animal, still has a positive effect on this world today, and whatever positive effect they've had on me, maybe that positive effect is going to go out of me into other people around the world, or the people that I interact with every day. So, this kind of interconnected web of life, you see that your actions today can have an impact. In fact, do have an impact. If you look back on your life, you look at some of the nuanced decisions that are seemingly unimportant, you can see that your entire life may have been affected by something that was apparently very small. And I just did a little reflection last week on a really good friend of mine. Like the circumstances around me meeting this person was just it was basically because my most hated job in my life. I got connected to a person who ended up introducing me to my best friend. So you never know where things are going to go. Thanks, Rhonda, for asking for saying that. Sybil says the here and now makes more sense to me. Yeah, well, and that's what's funny, right? The way that we human beings experience time. There's only one time that we can experience, and that's right now. The past is already gone. The future hasn't made it yet. Even 10 minutes later is not here yet. So that's it. That's how we live, and so. Can we relish the present moment? Because that is the only moment that there is. Thanks, Sybil. Ren says, we want to be in control. 100%. That's it. I go, you know what? I know what happens after I die. So it's all set. It's all comfortable. Like, no worries. My insurance policy has already been bought for the afterlife. I know... I know what kind of golden mansion I'm going to be living in. That's wouldn't that be great? Well, I mean, for some people it is great. I mean, I guess it is. Well, I don't know. That's the real question. Is ignorance bliss or not? Maybe that's a topic for another time. Yeah, abundance meditations. I guess I've probably already said too much. Said too much about my opinion of those. So yeah, I won't say anything else. Wonderful practice. Thanks for touching on such a mysterious topic. Thanks, Tina, for joining in. And it is a mysterious topic, and I guess that's it. With beginner's mind, the real question is, I'm ignorant. I'm an ignorant human. Is it possible for me to accept that and to be okay with that? I always like the afterlife, or the mystery of life. Forget the afterlife. The mystery of life itself. The analogy that I came up with and always try to use is like, no matter. I can do calculus. Like I studied engineering. I know how to do calculus, but no matter how hard I try to teach my Frank how to do calculus, I'm sorry, Frank, you just don't have the brain capacity to be able to master calculus, okay? And similarly, the mysteries of life. I mean, if we think that our puny human brains have the capacity to understand all the mysteries of life, then that's probably just as ignorant as thinking that Frank could master calculus at some time in his life. No matter how hard I try and push Frank and open the books and put glasses on him or whatever other silly things I can do to make Frank smarter, it's not going to work. maybe I can train him to do some tricks, but they just have to be realistic. Know the capacity, the potential of my cat's brain and my brain, and just go like, hey, this is what it is. Can I be cool? Can I be comfortable in that knowledge of ignorance? Can I be happy being ignorant in certain things? Death is a big swinging trapeze and letting go of one bar and not knowing what lies ahead. Thank you. Thanks, Gene, for sharing. Thanks, Graham, for your donation. Thanks for being here today. Lots of love out to you. I underestimate Frankie. Maybe. Right? He's like, I can do calculus. I just don't want to. Right? It's like the typical cat thing, right? All right. Thanks for being here today, everybody. It's been a pleasure. Hope that this was interesting or useful, or one of thanks for being here. That's what I'll say. Thanks for being here. Next time we're going to talk about some research. What's some of the latest research on mindfulness? We haven't talked about that in a while, so I'd love to kind of go over with you some of the what's the cutting edge research. So we'll talk about that, and look forward to chatting with you then. And let's send our well wishes out to each other before we go. So follow along with me if you like. May I be happy and peaceful. May everyone watching and listening wherever you are, I wish you all happiness and peace. May all sentient life throughout the universe, including those who have not yet been born, I wish everyone everywhere happiness and peace. All right. Sorry if you were hoping for an answer. The answer is there is no answer. Take care, everybody. Happy Earth Day, those of you that are finishing up your day in Europe or in the Americas or in Western Africa if you happen to be there. Bye-bye.